Good evening, everyone. It's me, Jordan Thomas, reporting live from Days Inn Hotel in East Brunswick. I'm here to recap the disastrous Knicks lost in Game 1 to the Miami Heat of the semifinals. The game they had home court advantage coming into this one, and the Knicks just blew Game 1, so now they don't have home court advantage. What a utterly disaster. That second half was just a disaster overall. That was not a good game at all. The Knicks had every chance to win that game, but just could not do it. They they fucking they wet the bed at the end. It was horrible. That was the worst fourth quarter execution I've ever seen from the Knicks in a long time. It was utterly horrible. They couldn't get shots. They couldn't get good shots. They couldn't make anything. They couldn't hit threes. They couldn't make free throws. They couldn't get defensive stuff. Their defense was horrible. The Heat in the third quarter alone got 3 transition buckets. Nobody got back on defense, which is utterly acceptable in the playoffs. Like in the playoffs, there's just certain things you cannot do. You cannot be out hustled. You can't get out rebounded, and you can't give up defensive transition points. Like you're not gonna win that way. It was utterly a disaster. It was fucking horrible today. The Knicks did look terrible today. And if they want to win game 2 and win the rest of the series, they need to play better for 48 minutes. There is no excuse for that second half collapse. And also, it didn't help that the rest were just absolutely shit, and they were a clown show. Like those are not refs. Those refs do not deserve to be refing a game. They deserve to go to the fucking circus the way they were refing. They were fucking horrible. They were calling everything from Miami. Every little touch foul they were calling. But every time the Knicks player got fouled, like they was beating up Jalen Brunson like a freaking punching bag, and they were not calling nothing. Barrett was getting fouled, no call. I mean, what the hell is this? Like they were just calling everything towards Miami. I'm not making that as a total excuse for why the Knicks lost, but that's part of the reason. Also, the Knicks just need to play better too. They need to make more shots. Like they need to like not go away from what helped them get the lead in the first place. Like in the first half, they were moving the ball, getting into the paint, scoring at will in the paint, and then they just didn't. They just stopped attacking for some reason. Like why? Like I don't understand. Then they just started shooting all these threes and stuff, and they could not make a three to save their life. They were throwing up a bunch of bricks. They was only 7 of 34 from downtown. Like that is horrible, especially at home. Like you're not gonna win too many games like that. And then their defense was total shit in the second half too. I mean, they got outscored in the second half, 58-36. That just can't happen. You can't give up 58 points in the second half and expect to win too many games, especially in the playoffs. So the Knicks defense just looked horrible. They look like shit. Nobody played defense. Everybody was just leaving the three-point shooters wide open. They gave up a lot of open threes. They didn't get key rebounds when they needed to. They kept turning the ball over. They were turnover machines today. They had 13 turnovers, which is a lot of turnovers. And then once they got to the free throw line, they could not capitalize. They shot a horrible percentage of 12 for 20, which is 60%. You shouldn't be shooting that badly at the free throw line. Those 8 misses right there hurt us right there because we ended up losing by 7 points. We make those free throws. It was a closer game, and we might be talking about a different result. So the Knicks, overall, is just a shitty game, and they have a lot of work to do. Game 2, they need to win because if they don't win, they're in trouble. So they need to play hard for 48 minutes. They need to bring the fucking effort for 48 minutes and don't relax because they just look horrible today. They gave up. I don't know what happened to that. And then Tom Thibodeau didn't. He made no fucking adjustments like usual. He didn't challenge anything. He looked like just lost today. Like he was letting things go. Like no, you're supposed to make adjustments when that happens. But no, like always, he always just stands there and let things happen. And then this will end up costing us games because he doesn't. He's never fucking willing to change anything. He's so stubborn. I never met a coach that is so stubborn on his plays and what. It's just irritating. This loss is just irritating because the Knicks had every bit of chance to win this game, and the Knicks needed to win these 2 games. Now they're down 1-0, and they have to win game 2. And then they already gave away home court advantage, so now they have to win one of the 2 games in Miami, which is not easy. The Knicks just made things harder for themselves than they had to be. I get Miami's a good team, but still, overall, it was just a shitty performance, and then the rest were just shitty too. I mean, those refs should never get another fucking game. Like they were just horrible. Like who hired those guys? Because those guys are just horrible. They were it looked like they betted on Miami the way they were reffing, because they would give Miami every little touch foul. You could not breathe on the guy without them calling every freaking foul. Every time you touch Jimmy Butler, foul. And what the hell is this? Is this playoff basketball or this regular season basketball? Like, what is this? But overall, I hope the Knicks do much better, and they got a lot of work to do, and they need to move the ball more in game 2, and they need to play 48 minutes, and they need to get in the paint more for the whole game. They need to don't just settle for threes, like, because you just settle for threes, that's gonna hurt you, especially when you're not making them. 7 of 34s is not good at all. That's 20%, and that's horrible, especially at home. From the field, they shot 47%, but it was just horrible. And then when you get to the free throw line, you gotta make your free throws. Like, if you don't make your free throws, even though in Miami got to the line 29 times to our 20. I know but that's 9 more free throws than us, and they were 23 for 29 from the free throw line. So that's 11 more points right there from Miami. And then the Heat made 6 more threes than us, which also made a big difference. So if the Knicks want to win game 2, they have to play better, because this effort in game 1 was unacceptable. There's no excuse for it. But hopefully the Knicks win and they win game 2. Hopefully everyone has a good night. It's me, Jordan Thomas, saying good night and let's go Knicks.